Yeah, what's good, YouTube? Jay Jones back. Jay Jones in the building. Hey, hey. Today we gonna do it a little different, man. Instead of me reacting to something, I kind of just be wanting to come over here and have conversations with y'all, or react to people having conversations. I know one of the videos that you guys liked was when we discussed the top 10 of the 2010s, man. Kyrie mentioned that he was going to react to KD when he was talking to Steve Nash and LeBron, which to me was cut short based off a lot of variables. I was real excited about that team. Now, let me tell you this. First of all, I was talking to my boy Clay one time, and something he said stuck to me. He said, I need to start telling more stories, man. I need to start telling more stories. I need to, I don't know, just kind of be more, I guess, more vocal about stuff. And a lot of guys ask me who I've met. And then they say, well, out of the people you met, who's like the nicest, who was the coolest? No exaggeration. I put this on anything. Kevin Durant was one of the coolest, most humble, nicest people I met. It was Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. I haven't really met Kyrie. We've been in the same room, kind of like a high and by thing, but it wasn't like an official introduction. I've met a lot of NBA players. You know what I'm saying? Blessings have taken me all over to be able to do this. Kevin Durant was by far one of the coolest people I think I got to talk to. Y'all can see the video is on my main channel. Steph Curry was another one. Blake Griffin was obviously cool. I could keep naming, but it was something about KD, like, we connected well, man. I think a lot of times his personality gets from a business side because he treats business a little different, but from a personal standpoint, he one of the easiest dudes to talk to. And I saw him again when we had All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City a few years back. And he remembered me and everything. No bull. Like, came over, was like, yo, how you doing? Before he got into the black truck, they was taking him off. I don't want this to get misconstrued, man. These NBA players, they doing a good job. Sometimes they get a little frustrated with people, but I think they doing a good job kind of speaking up now with things that they going through. Man, it worked out perfectly. When I met him, man, I promise he was the nicest dude. I actually got the opportunity to go out there to do the stuff where I was talking about the KD 11 right around the same time my oldest daughter was born. So that just lets me know, like, the universe, if you're doing the right things, no bull, the universe is going to make sure you're taken care of. God going to look out, man, because I was trying to figure out how I could get to California. I was trying to time it. I ended up getting this opportunity, which was in the Bay at the time. You know, he played for the Warriors. And then my daughter's mom lived in San Diego at the time. I was able to make that, and then I was able to see my daughter born. So it was just man, I always think about that moment. That was a real pivotal moment in my life, a great moment in my life. So I'm curious to see what Kyrie is saying. I'm sure they ain't got no beef or nothing like that, but I just kind of want to know, like, his thoughts on it, man, because we all was looking forward to that Brooklyn Nets team. I'm going to be real. I know I was. I'm boy 7-Eleven. You had Harden over there? What? Let's check this out, though. Let's watch it. I hate I missed the actual stream, though.
When you think back to our time in Brooklyn, what do you think of?
I had just signed that deal. You had just signed the deal. But I feel like we were secure, but everything else around us was going to and not in a bad way. We got GMs going to other teams. We got coaches going to other teams. We got players forcing trades. We got bringing Ben Simmons. He's back. Like, it was just so much. I had just signed that deal. You had just signed the deal.
Here, right?
But I feel like we were secure, but everything else around us was.
I feel like, let me say this too. I feel like Steve Nash got the short end of the stick altogether, though, because he ain't got another coaching job since, another coaching opportunity since. It's dope that he's doing this with Bron, but I don't feel like Steve Nash just a bad coach. I don't think we got a true chance to see him coach for real. Steve Nash was one of my favorite players growing up. What? He had the broken nose with the blood coming down and was still hooping. Y'all might be too young to remember that. He went to war with Bean. Bean, obviously, is Bean, got the best of him. But he went to war. He was one of the few who went to war with Bean. He made Stoudemire look cold. Just saying. Just saying.
Going.
So when
You can ask my young man, or
and it's obviously, again, I didn't take this personally.
Everything else around us was.
So when he says this, I'm I'm not taking that personally. It was a lot going on around all of us, right? But how Steve ended up becoming our head coach, I'll let Kay answer that, right, when he's ready. But I already had my own thoughts on how the coaching situation was going to go. I felt like there were other candidates out there that could have definitely been our head coach.
KD brought Steve Nash over. Steve Nash was with KD.
In his own way, in his role that he played in Golden State.
Steve Nash was at KD and Golden State.
Coach, I had my own thoughts, right? And I'll get into that later in my documentary, but I'm just saying I had my own thoughts. And when Steve became our head coach, he even admitted to me that he had his own reserves on coaching me, and I had my reserves on him being coached by him. So we had already hashed that out, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, yeah, it was all easy around just everything in Brooklyn. We're one of the most watched teams now because we have all-stars on the team. We are in New York City, in the media capital of the world. You just got to walk a little bit different. And I wasn't ready to walk that walk, and I don't know if I can't speak for them, but there was a lot going on, just not within the team, but just Brooklyn in general, the Nets.
So to me, that sounds like they were willing to be professional. Kyrie wasn't too sold on Steve Nash being the head coach. He thought other people or other coaches would be a better fit. KD being the guy, especially at that time, coming over there, he was more so like, nah, Steve Nash going to be the head coach. I trust him. He was in Golden State with me. He put him on pretty much. I'm thinking. That's what that sounded like to me.
I didn't feel like it was going to shit, but I felt like there was just a lot of structural change happening that was very quick. And he's coming off an Achilles tear. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's coming off an Achilles tear, right? And he's trying to get back into who he is. And I'm like, I'm ready now. This was the season I had my 50-40-90 where Steve's head coach. You know what I'm saying? We're having a great season, but at the same time, everything is just pretty much like easy. Right, everything's pretty much easy. Like everything's easy, everything's going. And then we trade for James, and everything starts, improving and things of that nature. But during that season, I had a breakdown where I went through some things at home, went through some family stuff that I had to address, right? And I ended up not going into work for a certain amount of time, and I got killed for that, right? And everybody was like, "Yo, where's Kai at? Where's Kai out?" And in between that time, Karis, Jared Allen got traded, and others got traded. Torian got traded for James.
I remember that too, because I ain't gonna lie, I was one of those too who was a little like skeptical, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. I was more worried about what Kyrie was going through because it didn't seem like him to actually be leaving. Like there were certain players that, man, I'm a huge Kyrie fan. Like, Kyrie was in high school the same time I was in high school. So, just to be clear, I've always grew up watching him from the Cavs to when he won with Bron to when he made the move to the Celtics for that year. Like, I kept up with him the whole time, bro. Like, I love Kyrie. So, I wanted to see him team up with somebody else that I had a lot of respect for, KD. I'm a huge KD fan. You got to remember, these guys, like how y'all see Tatum and Ant-Man and this my generation though, really though. Like I'm looking at what they do. So I'm such a basketball head, I always have been, that I'm trying to keep up with almost like everything that they doing on the court. So when we didn't see them, it kind of hurt us a little bit, I think, from a fan perspective. You know what I mean? But at the same time, life be lifing. So he had to go through what he was going through. And I don't feel like he gets a lot of enough credit for being vulnerable and talking about that.
Not for James, excuse me. We ended up trading Karis, Jared, and then we got James, right? And then it kind of just started.
I don't think they should have traded Jared Allen, though.
Think about when you get James,
we
Kyrie,
knew that one.
KD on one team, and then you add in all the other complementary pieces. It just, for your first year, your second year, that's impressive. You know what I'm saying? That's impressive. No, I again, when I had my 50-40-90 season, did I want to leave the team the way I did? Hell no. But again, I take my accountability for not being in the greatest space mentally, physically, emotionally,
That's a big part of it, though.
I didn't know how to even express that to them at the time. Like, yo, That's how I was feeling. That's what I'm dealing with. It was just kind of like me, isolated, being recluse. Like, y'all don't really understand what's going on. So I get it.
We got
All men gonna go through a phase like that where you kind of closed off.
Yep, and he's talking about coaches going to the team. Ime Udoka literally went to the Boston Celtics after coaching with us. That was crazy.
That
bro.
is crazy.
You know,
That is crazy. That is
We
crazy.
had Ime Udoka literally go to Boston
That's
next
crazy.
year.
I ain't gonna lie, that is crazy.
I mean, like, you got coaches leaving other teams, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just opportunity. But we're in the same division. Can you imagine going against the coach that literally saw all of our strengths and weaknesses, and now we're playing against them?
That's tough.
You know what I'm saying?
That
So
is
Boston
tough.
was ready for us. Ime had them ready, had the Celtics ready, dog. When we played them in the 2022 playoffs, shit got wild. Shit got wild, y'all. For sure, shit got wild. So we had a lot going on. Katie is right. That's what I'm saying. When I said I'm gonna address this on stream, it literally was just about doing this and having fun with it and letting people know. Okay. You know, letting people know like what it is. That's all. It's a minute 30
We
second
got
clip.
players forcing trades. We got bringing Ben Simmons. He's back. Like it was.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you. So when we traded James for Ben, right? That whole Nets Big Three era. By the way, Nets World. You probably won't give me any credit, but Nets World. That's definitely something that I came up with. But it's okay.
That's
Nets
hard,
World
though.
probably was existence before I came up with. That's fine too. But when I started calling it Nets World, everything like that started going up. All right. So when James got traded for Ben, I don't think we knew the landscape of where Ben was at, right? I don't think we knew where Ben was at. So when that trade happened, it shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. I was talking to James one day. I'm like, shit, bro, we about to go with these championships. And it was like a day later, asked for a trade. I was like, oh.
Damn, that's tough, there though. That's tough. Y'all talking about winning the chips and then you out of there? Hey. Oh no, that's a toughie. That's a toughie.
Oh, okay. Shit like that now. Okay, I can't be mad. I'm not gonna ever be mad at someone doing what's best for them. Right? And shout out to James, right? And I've had my conversation with James, and I told him, I said, bro, I understood completely what you were doing, man. I understood, like, you're in the middle of the season, you're unsure about what I got going on, you know, you don't know what the next portion of your career is going to look like, you know, things are going on, so you have your questions, you know, what contract you're going to get, because we're all max deal players at that point. Me, James, and Kay are all max deal players. We are all worth whatever we're about to get paid, right? I'm going to say that out loud. But when that happened and we got Ben, a lot more pressure started to come in on our franchise.
For sure.
Because now not only do we have this going on, but also we have a situation that Ben is dealing with where everybody is trying to micromanage the spun narrative. Like, he's doing this, he's doing that. So it wasn't...
It was a lot of he say, she say, for
It
sure.
was not at all. I didn't feel like that was a fair trade. But at the same time, when it happened, he went to our division. He went to Philly. So not only did we lose Ime Udoka, and then we lost one of our assistant GMs, but we lost James to Philly.
That's true,
so we're
too.
in the same division with our brothers. You know, and they know everything that we got going on. So when you spend a season or two with somebody, you're gonna know their habits. You're gonna know their strengths and weaknesses. You know that, and
that's true.
I'm grateful that all of this stuff is just business, you guys. Basketball is not meant to be this harmful, violent, you know, like he said, she said type of eventful space, bro. This is not Love Island, y'all. This is not
right.
The world. This is not The Shore. This is the basketball, like the NBA drama space. Is not real drama, you guys. It's not. I'm here to tell you that. Now, it may seem like guys don't get along because guys may be misunderstanding people's moves or what they do, or, you know, something. Of course, some certain situations are different. They're serious. But I'm saying the basketball drama that's created, like, look at them going against each other. Look at them. It looks like they don't like each other. It's like, bro, in competition.
That's what it's supposed to be like.
And you were just with me, rocking with me, and we were supposed to win championships together. We had these higher expectations.
You're going to compete, though.
Of course I'm going to try to knock your block off.
You're going to compete.
I'm human. You know what I'm saying? It's a business at the end of the day, but it's entertainment, dog. It's like NBA, maybe that equal, like that little equal sign to WWE sometimes, bro. Like, people get it messed up in their minds, living out these characters and these nicknames. It's just not it. It's not it. I don't live like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to talk about these things in a very I won't say in a very friendly manner, because in business ain't shit friendly, but you know, these are my brothers at the end of the day, you guys. These are people I care about. I care about their families. I care about them succeeding. I care about them as black men. I care about them as young men, or older men as well, like in terms of just how we have made it out of, we made it out of nowhere damn near, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And we've been part of the renaissance of the league being worth billions of dollars. So of course, like, we're gonna have our spats, we're gonna have our shit, but this, when things like this occur,
It's just so much
stuff going
it's
on.
all good, y'all.
around us. I feel like
By the way, and mind you, I'm aware that they've had a few drinks as well. You know, so I'm not judging this too hard. Like, I've drunk wine before.
Yeah, they feeling good. They feeling good. I'm gonna drink some wine and come on here and react.
Everybody else kind of, you know, this is kind of everybody just feeling.
I'm gonna drink some wine. We gonna go live.
Things, but hey, it's always time and a place. And
we were locked in on the same
Y'all might hear
page and
different side
understand
of
like
me.
we trying to do something
Damn,
special.
Jay, this how you really feel?
But and I felt like your hands were tied a lot because you had to, as a coach, you got to deal with so much.
Nah, he's not lying about that. I will commend Steve Nash for dealing with all these things as a coach. He did his best, man. He did his best. You know what I'm saying? He did his best. I'm gonna just leave it at that. He did his best.
I didn't get to coach as much as I wanted to.
That's what it was. I didn't think we didn't get the full Steve Nash. Like
I agree with that though.
Like
Like I said in the beginning, I don't think Steve Nash got the coach for real.
Too many distractions in a way, and you know you can't win that way. And but I felt like we had great intentions though. I felt like we cared enough. I felt like every day we were trying to push towards winning the champ. It was a great vibe in there. It's some of the best times. That first year, that's why I signed that deal.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that he said this, is because that first year that we were all together was really special. It was really special. We had veterans, we had young guys, we had we literally breezed through the regular season. You know, it was so easy. And
damn, what could have been though. I think that's, as a fan, that's what you say though. Like, man, what could have been. You feel me? You know you got three of the best in their era to do it. Damn, that's what be hurting though, really. But it is business, like he's saying though, and I think it's hard for the casual to see that, but it's a real thing though, bro. Like, it really do be a lot of business stuff going on behind the scenes that they don't even have control over necessarily all the time. Keeping it a bean. But they can't necessarily speak on it either, because then it'll still affect their bread.
Everybody,
so you're in a tough spot
in that locker room, because we really came together at the right time. You know, I get injured, James gets injured in those playoffs.
You can't help that either.
Happened, right? We only played a few games together, all three of us, and we were 13-3, I believe, right? But it's just sad when we look at these times and they're like, well, this was a failure, without the proper context to how all this ended up happening. You know, it's real people involved in this. It's not for play, right? I say it's entertainment, right? And I'm saying it's a business, but also tied into that, we're real human beings dealing with trying to do something very special that comes with sacrifices that no one will appreciate, except for the people that you in war with. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to battle with. Things happen, right? Those playoffs, if KD's foot doesn't, you know, hit that line, or if I don't get injured, or if things don't work out differently, you know, maybe we're sitting here multi-time champions. Few of us got MVPs, you know, I got an MVP, things work out. Of course, we could play the hypotheticals, but dealing with fact, it was a tough environment for all of us. I will say that. It was a tough environment. It wasn't just for them.
Just a different time,
First year, man, most fun ball I had. Some of the most fun ball I had playing my whole life. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Brooklyn a lot. I love playing for Brooklyn, but it's just so much
stuff happened.
It be like that.
And I pray that one day, right, we all get to sit down, and I hope it's for my documentary, and we get to talk about this time more openly, because I think even as I watch Bron sit there, he knows that a lot of this stuff was happening, but also him being in LA, he had his own thing going too. So this is giving him clarity on what happened, but it's also coming from just KD and Steve, and there were a lot of parties involved in this. And some of the other parties that are involved, I won't never speak on it, but
that's what I'm saying.
Around the guys that were committed to the situation, I felt like we were committed, but everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
So this was the part where I honestly looked at it and I was like, when he said this, emotionally, I was like, okay, we're all committed to the goal at the end of the day, but sometimes not everybody's gonna follow what you want them to do. I wish I had my soundboard for this, but like not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do, and I've had to accept that as a human being and as a leader. Not everybody's gonna do what you want them to do. Not everybody's gonna be committed the way you want them to be committed, right? And it's not like Kay is asking me for this, but it's like I asked for this commitment before I committed to Brooklyn from him, which was a beautiful thing. I'm like, yo, let's commit to this thing. We could build up Brooklyn. We could really put Brooklyn on the map. You know, nobody's really thinking about Brooklyn. But when he said that, I'm like, bro, Steve wasn't even in the play yet. But this is your man's. This is your man. So I got to support that. This is your man's.
It is his man's.
You want him? Cool. You like Steve? I love Steve. You know what I'm saying? Cool. As a younger brother, I'm like, okay, I don't care. That's fine. You want Steve to coach? That's fine. But when you're committed to the same goal and then a year changes things and then things going behind the scenes, like, come on.
But everybody else wasn't. It just was weird.
Yeah, it was weird timing, bro. It was weird for everybody. It was weird for everybody, y'all. You know, and that's what I'm grateful that I've been able to gather all the information and yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, I gave you guys certain details of what was going on. We watched the clip. That's all I wanted to address on that.
I mean, he pretty much saying everything he can say. When his documentary drops, well, I can't talk today. God damn. When his documentary drops, I'm sure we'll get more. I'm sure we'll get more details. Hopefully, like he said, they can all sit down and talk to it. Him, KD, and Harden. But like I said, man, he pretty much telling you what we already know. A lot of moving pieces. Sometimes you gotta agree to disagree. Injuries played a role. They just wasn't able to make it work like they envisioned. Sometimes you don't always, like, the vision don't always add up. And that's something that I think we got to start looking at too, man. Like, that's something I had to come to terms with. Sometimes the vision just doesn't always add up. And that's okay. It's almost like when you finally bag that bad chick that you thought was everything until you really get to know her. And it's like, you missing this. You don't really care about me like this. You ain't what I thought for real. You feel me? Like, and I think that's kind of, that's just kind of how it was. It just didn't pan out how they envisioned, and they couldn't make it work. But everybody is cold in their own way and got their own rights to believe and feel the way that they want to. But I got a lot of respect for Kyrie, a lot of respect for KD, and a lot of respect for Harden as well. I think they wanted something to happen. They just didn't know how to get it there. And it wasn't voiced properly because they were all going through situations and hindrances as well. KD was injured, coming off an injury. Kyrie with his situations and getting injured. James, same type of vibe. He wasn't necessarily healthy. It's hard to compete like that on a high level, man. We got to remember, this the A. It's hard to compete like that in the NBA. But I'm glad he decided to address it at least a little bit, give us a little insight, man. So, yeah, let me know what you think, man. Were you a huge fan of the Brooklyn team? I know I was. I think it was a little cut short, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, people got to do what's best for them. I love that Kyrie addressed it. I love how KD went about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure we'll get another full story one of these days, man. But this was good. Nothing but love for them. Both great guys. Like I said, haven't really